Hello, and welcome back to my channel. I never say welcome back to my channel, always feels very weird. Let me say welcome back to another pregnancy related video of mine. I think it was 2 weeks ago that I announced my pregnancy and I was about 18 or 19 weeks then. Now I am 21 weeks pregnant and we have a lot of catching up to do since I announced my pregnancy so much farther along than usual, I guess. So we kind of skipped over the whole first trimester and I feel like there's a lot to update you guys on. Not only like all the symptoms I was experiencing and stuff, but we know the gender of the baby of which is inside of my body. And I got a lot of questions asking if we were going to announce the gender, what the gender is, all of that, and I think I'm going to be doing that today. I also asked you to submit some questions for me that I can answer over on that YouTube video and then my Insta stories and a couple other places, just saying like, hey, what do you want to know about the, everything. Let's do a Q&A, let's chat. Words might be difficult for me because that is a major symptom that I get, is baby brain, mommy brain, pregnancy brain, whatever it is. It never goes away truly after you're pregnant. So come chill with me, come hang out, get yourself a cup of coffee, get some tea, and let's talk pregnancy and baby and all of that fun stuff. By the way, if you are new to my channel and just happened to stumble upon this, my name is Ashley Ellix. I know most of you, though, are probably my fan bam that are watching, and thank you so much for hanging out and watching another one of my videos. If you are new here, though, and you like what you see so far, you can always hit that little subscribe button down below. But enough of all the chit chat ahead of time. Let's get into the regular chit chat portion of this video, which is my Q&A. I wrote it all down, so we're ready. If that all sounds good and dandy to you, and then you're in the right place, and all you need to do now is sit back, hang tight, and keep on watching. Boop, the camera's too far. Boop, boop, boop. First question, let's do, so someone asked, how did you find out / did you know before you tested? So I found out, I don't even know what month it was now. It was July? Yes, it was July because it was kind of near 4th of July. We actually went up for a little kind of like safe quarantine type of trip to Bass Lake here in California. And we rented a nice cozy little private cabin and we kind of spent, I think it was like 4 days there, and we were very like self-sufficient, had a refrigerator and everything. So we just had a nice relaxing weekend there, and I think it was maybe like a week or two after 4th of July. Yeah, anyway, the details don't matter, but yeah, we had a nice relaxing trip. Towards the end of the trip though, I started like falling asleep really easily, which is not something that I'm able to do usually. I usually have to like scroll through Instagram for like an hour or read a book or watch a movie or something, but I would like hit the bed and I'd fall asleep. And my daughter was like so excited to watch a movie and stuff. She'd like put on a movie and then I'd be like all cozy and I'd instantly fall asleep, which I don't usually do. So that was the first little clue, like, something might be going on that's different with me. But I was kind of a little confused because the way my body operates and works is I do not have regular periods whatsoever. They are kind of like all over the place, and I usually spot before I get my period. So before our trip, I was actually having a little tiny itty bitty bit of spotting, which is not unusual for me, but it wasn't unusual in any times. It really doesn't help at all because it could mean I'm pregnant, it could mean I'm not pregnant. So what we ended up finding out was that it was implantation bleeding. Anyways, we were leaving Bass Lake. I remember it. We got in the car, we got all of our stuff loaded up, and I was like, I'm a little nauseous. And I get car nauseous, but we like literally just got in the car. And I was like, okay, this is weird. Like, that's not, maybe any of you who have had some challenges with getting pregnant and stuff know how frustrating it can be every month after month, just not knowing, is this going to be the month that I'm pregnant? Is it not? What's the deal? So you kind of don't want to like put all your like focus into that. So I kind of just let it go. Like I was like, yeah, I've been a little tired. It's been really easy for me to fall asleep. Maybe we were swimming a lot. Maybe I'm really just tired from swimming. I can't explain the nausea. Maybe I didn't eat enough breakfast or something. And I had like the spotting before our trip. So I thought my period would be coming like that day or the next day. So I was just like, you know what, whatever, c'est la vie, whatever's gonna happen is gonna happen. I'm not gonna like sit here and agonize over it. And my husband's like, oh no, you're pregnant for sure. And he always does call it, I have to say. So I was like, okay, that's nice. Let's just wait. And like, I just don't want to think about it because like I said, if you have infertility struggles or anything, you know, or even just when you're trying actively, you know how hard it can be month after month going through that motion, and you don't want to hype yourself up for disappointment. So I just put it out of my mind and was like, whatever, I think my period's gonna come, no big deal. So ended up being the next morning that we tested, and I was a little annoyed that husband took a little peek at the test before he was supposed to, but it's totally okay. So we were waiting for the 3 minutes to be up, and right when I stand up to go look, he like just, you know, out of habit, just like, look, not habit, but just, he wasn't thinking about it. He just looked and he was just like, oh, and I was like, what? And so we were both there at the same time, obviously, but you know, it was a really funny, like little moment where I was just like, why did you peek? But it was still great, still wonderful. Now I will say, I obviously was so excited. We were so overwhelmed and just felt so grateful and thankful. But in case you are new to my channel, you know, you don't know the backstory, last year we did have a late-term pregnancy loss, and it, you know, it's really scary. So getting that positive pregnancy test came with so many emotions that was very difficult to navigate. And not only dealing with that, but also just COVID, you know, I mean, that was back in July, and, you know, things aren't really looking that much better right now either. But, you know, it came with so many different emotions that I wasn't really expecting, that it was kind of a lot to take in. And, you know, part of the reason why it took me so long to announce pregnancy was so many different things. But, you know, just wondering, okay, is this pregnancy gonna work out? Like, is everything gonna be fine? How do I go? How do I navigate it? So that reaction that I felt that day was different than my previous pregnancy reactions, I think. So because you kind of want to guard yourself, you know, I'm just going to be completely honest, completely real. You feel like, oh my goodness, yay, I'm excited, but also like, okay, but wait, like you don't want to get your hopes up too much. You feel like a little part of you is holding back from letting yourself be as excited as you truly want to be. So with that being said, I'm going to skip down to another question that I had saw. It was, since we kind of touched on it, how did you know you were ready to be pregnant again after the loss of your baby last year? So that is a heavy question, but I definitely want to answer that because I feel like I'm not alone in this struggle at all. We just decided that we weren't gonna do anything one way or another. We weren't gonna actively be trying to get pregnant, but we were not gonna be preventing it. With all of my pregnancies now, it's taken me about a year to get pregnant because my cycle is so sporadic. I go from anywhere from 28 days to, you know, up to like 34, I think. So it's hard for me to predict when I'm ovulating and stuff. So when I got pregnant with my first daughter, who's 5 now, it took about a year for us to get pregnant, and it was really hard to like go through all of the different, you know, reading my temperatures, taking ovulation tests, doing all of that. And, you know, the month of after all of that work, then still getting that disappointing negative test, you know. So we decided that we weren't going to do that again. With this pregnancy, I knew that I couldn't put all of my effort into it at all. I just needed to do whatever would happen. Because of the loss, it took my body, it didn't take longer for my body to adjust, but I definitely didn't have a normal period. Like my periods were only lasting like 1 day for like a long time. And it wasn't until maybe the month before I got pregnant that I had my first real period, I feel like my first true cycle, that I was like, okay, like it could probably happen soon now. So it wasn't that I knew if I was ready or not. Like we definitely wanted to have another child, but you're never really like, I knew I was never going to be emotionally ready in a way. That sounds weird. Like I knew I just needed to do whatever needed to be done. Like whatever would happen would happen. It was in God's hands. It wasn't in my hands. And I didn't want to go into every month expecting one result or another, you know, and we didn't want to prevent, I just didn't want it to be in my hands, quite frankly. And I just knew that it was going to be hard whether I waited a few years or whether we got to going right away, that I knew it was going to be unavoidable, uncomfortable emotions that I would have to go through. So I hope that answers your question. I don't know if anybody's ever really ready. I mean, it's just kind of like when you know you're ready to have your first child or not, you know, for some of us that you're never really ready, but you rise to the occasion and you figure it out. So yeah, it wasn't that we were ready or not ready. We just knew that when the time was right, it would happen. Going past that 18-week mark that we lost our baby last year, now that I got over that, I've gotten all the tests done. We've seen them on ultrasounds a million times now. I feel much better about everything. And also this pregnancy is so much more different than that pregnancy. And yeah, so many different things going on. So we can feel like I can breathe and be excited now and just enjoy every moment. So how did your daughter handle the news? So like I said, we have a 5-year-old daughter, and she honestly, since like the moment she could talk, like complete, you know, sentences, at least a few words together, was asking for a sibling. She loves kids, she loves babies, she loves people, she's so incredibly social. And I come from a very big family, and my husband's really close to his family too, so there's tons of kids around all the time, and she's always just like, when do I get to have, you know, a sibling? So I remember her sitting on my lap when she had to have been like 8, maybe 2, maybe not even, asking when I could have a baby in there, you know? So that is something that she was ready for, hands down. She is so incredibly excited. She cannot wait to be a big sister. She's just so ready. So cute. My due date, because this is one of the questions, what is the due date? My due date, I didn't want to talk about on the announcement video because they were kind of moving it a little bit, like within a few days. Because of my inconsistencies with my cycle, they had to kind of, you know, I was guessing because I wasn't tracking, and then they had to go off measurements. So anyways, the due date is March 24th, which I know some of you have a birthday on that day, so that's exciting. And then a couple of you around that date. So a lot of you guys were campaigning for that to be the day the baby is born. We'll see what happens. You'll know when I know, and then we'll know, and maybe you guys will share birthdays. All right, next question asked was, you said in your announcement videos you felt all the symptoms. What were they? So yes, I did say that because I feel like I did. So I had, okay. Morning sickness is not exclusive to the morning. Hate to break it to you. Some people, I guess, luck out and they only experience in the morning. I experience all day sickness, and it was really difficult this go around. Oh my goodness. I feel like I was sick almost like nonstop. Not to the point that I was throwing up all the time. Probably, you know, less than 10 times I actually had to throw up. But just that constant state of nausea and feeling like you're gonna throw up is just the worst. Oh, I don't miss it. Oh, I don't miss it. Not experiencing it anymore. Almost immediately into the second trimester, that all went away. So I'm very grateful for that. At the time of that exchange, I left my morning sickness behind, and I just became super tired and exhausted and but I would much rather trade that any day. I do not like the nausea at all. I do not like the all day sickness. I had so many aversions. Nothing sounded good. I still can't eat chocolate or ice cream. Black dessert just sounds the worst. I'm finding little things here and there that I'll have like a bite of, but not only do they just not taste good to me, it makes me feel gross if I eat it. So like the one time that I ate like an ice cream with them, I felt so horrible after. So this baby does not like desserts, and it's so crazy because it's like, I love dark chocolate pretzels, dark chocolate, anything dark chocolate. And now it's like, I can't even, like nothing. Anytime I have a sweet, it has to just be like a little bit. So that's pretty wild. Now, all my other aversions pretty much went away. I can pretty much eat anything. I'm going back to eating pretty healthy, which is nice because for a while you're just trying to eat whatever you can, bland food like top ramen or some bread, some toast. Now I'm going back to my normal healthy eating, which I feel so much better. not about, but like I just feel so much better eating, you know, my leafy greens and my veggies and everything. There was one night we made asparagus in the first trimester. Major mistake. I took one bite and it just tasted like the most bitter, disgusting thing ever, and I'm usually all about asparagus. So first trimester was a hard go with that. And craving wise, since we're talking about it, I only get like little random things that it's like, oh, that would be nice to have. I'm not having any crazy ravenous cravings yet that I think of, but I might think of some later that I've had. Who knows? In the first trimester, you just take what you can get and keep it down. You know, it was a rough go. It was a rough go. Yeah, and with that, because I had so many aversions, I had such a lack of appetite, I had to force myself to find something to eat. And then it's kind of like a sick cycle where it's like, where if you don't eat, so you're nauseous and nothing sounds good and everything makes you want to throw up, or, you know, the idea of it makes you want to throw up, and so then you don't eat, but then if you don't eat, then you feel more nauseous, so then you have to find something, but then that thing makes you, and it's just this like, oh, so you have to find something that you can keep down, preferably something with some protein in it, and just hope for the best, man. Hope for the best. I mean, I'm a huge water hog and I will drink 72 ounces a day and I love water, but it was so hard for me to even drink water then. It was so rough. So I'm so grateful that is pushed aside and I'm feeling much better and I'm back to my normal ways. I still have a couple more symptoms that I experienced though. I just felt crazy uncomfortable. Like everything ached, everything was uncomfy, my tummy, it was really weird. Like now it's much better, but it was hard to get comfortable at night with, even though like I was like, my tummy wasn't showing that much. Like if I pushed on my tummy, like tried to lift it up, it would hurt. If I left it, it would hurt. If it was just like, it was just not crazy painful, but just like, ooh, like that. And that was weird. It's all better now. I'm not having that. So that's good. I'm appreciating this while it lasts because the third trimester is usually where I, you know, it comes up to my ribs and I can't breathe. And yeah, I'm enjoying this more peaceful resting while it lasts. Although I will say, just last week, it was hard. I was having some days where it felt like uncomfortable to stand, uncomfortable to sit down, uncomfortable to lay down. Basically, the most comfortable I am is if I can lay on my side and prop my belly up a little bit. And then I'm like, this is great. Otherwise, though, I can be pretty uncomfortable. This week's a little bit better with walking and standing though, which is good. I'm grateful. Yeah, two other symptoms that I remember having: crazy dreams, which was super frustrating because I would be so exhausted, yet I would have insomnia and it would be so hard for me to fall asleep. And then when I would fall asleep, I had the craziest dreams, like so crazy. I don't even know, like some of them were really stressful and had to deal with like stuff that just totally sucked, but some of them were just crazy and I was running the whole time, and so I would wake up literally exhausted. So I don't have as many crazy dreams now. I'm a big dreamer as it is, and I'm fairly good at like controlling some dreams, but I was completely out of control with this one. So yeah, I could not, that was a lot. And then also I was extremely moody and hormonal, like to the max, like something I never experienced before in my life. I was so short-fused, short-tempered. I felt so bad for my husband and daughter that I'm just like, you guys just need to stay back because any little thing, I stub my toe, it's gonna be the end of the world. Like everything was just falling apart in my mind, but yet nothing actually was. And part of that I think is just due to stressful circumstances. Anxiety surrounding the pregnancy can be a huge factor in my mood for sure, because it's like as soon as I started feeling like everything's gonna be okay, my moods got better, and I'm sure that it has everything to do with anxiety and stress, and then just the freaking world, man, and COVID and everything that's happening. I mean, those all can be contributing factors, but I also felt like in some way it was kind of something that was like out of my control and having to do with hormones and stuff. Now, when I say I felt like I was incredibly moody and like stressed out and like, you know, just short fused, I don't know that I was so much doing that on the outside, but on the inside, I just felt like Everything made me mad. Like everything was just like, you know what I mean? Maybe you can relate. I don't know, but I don't think I was like necessarily being that way on the outside, but on the inside, man, everything was bothering me, where usually I'm just somebody that's just like, hey, whatever, man, it's all good. So it was very weird for me. I definitely didn't feel like myself for a good 3 months, and it was difficult and it was hard to balance everything. And my daughter was starting online school, and that was really hard and frustrating. And it was just a lot. So I don't know how much of it was only pregnancy hormones. I think it was like a mix of everything, like feeling like so much is going on, and then I have all these pregnancy hormones and anxiety that it just, whoo, boy, I'm glad we're out of that funk for sure, because that was no fun. So now let's move on to this question. How is the second trimester going? I think I'm halfway through the second trimester. If the second trimester starts at like 13 or 14 weeks. So yeah, I don't know if I'm halfway through. Well, I'm in it. So it's going so much better. Like I said earlier, as soon as the second trimester rolled around, I exited the first trimester. All the nausea went away, and I'm so grateful for that. I can start eating again. I still can't eat a lot. I just don't feel like I have very much room. I get full really, really fast. I could be like so hungry, and I'll eat like 5 bites, and I'll be like, oh, woo, okay, I'm done. And I think part of it is just like, I'm already getting like to that point where my belly is really round. So I have to like lean back, bring the plate to me, and eat that way so I could actually fit like a decent amount of food to like actually be full, or else I'll just be starving an hour later because I only took 5 bites. So that's what's going on. I feel like I could sleep a lot easier now. It's oddly enough more comfortable for me to sleep than the first trimester. That's what's so weird. I couldn't get my stomach comfortable in the first trimester, but now that my stomach's bigger, it's easier for me. And now when I like hold my stomach in a way, it doesn't, I don't know, did it hurt in the first trimester or did it make me feel nauseous? I think anytime I would touch my tummy, I would start feeling nauseous. So now it's all good, and which is great because I love feeling my tummy with my baby inside of it. So that is going better. I don't know that I've had any other symptoms that I can think of. Feeling much better mentally, feeling just like myself again, which is so great. So glad. Next one, how does this pregnancy compare to your others? So this pregnancy, for the most part, is very similar to the pregnancy with my daughter. I would say the only thing that's hard to compare is I was working full-time as a manager at a retail store back then, so I don't remember everything. Also, it was like over 5 years ago. I don't remember everything. I was really sick with her, and I had a ton of aversions, and I had all of those same things. I don't remember being as nauseous though with her, which that says a lot, because I felt like back then I would look back and I'd be like, wow, I was so nauseous. I couldn't imagine being more nauseous, and I feel like I was even more nauseous this year. I do not know how I worked through that, because that was crazy. I remember, yeah, I remember it was rough. It was rough go. With her, I was more tired, but to me that makes sense because, I mean, I'd be on my feet for like 8 or 9 hours a day. Now I can pace myself differently, so I'm definitely not as tired now. I'm getting to that point now where it's easier for me to fall asleep again. It got hard, and then, you know, it was easy that first weekend when I didn't know I was pregnant yet, and then it got hard, and then it's getting to be a little bit easier now. My second pregnancy that we unfortunately lost was very, very different. I was starving the whole time. I felt like I could never get full. I was just so hungry. I slept all the time. Very, very different. So this pregnancy is very much like my first with my daughter. Okay, with that being said, because I find it an interesting comparison, the gender, which I had so many questions about that. Most of the questions, other than the ones we talked about, most of the other questions were about the gender. All that. What is the baby's gender? Are you going to find out? Are you going to announce it? What is up? What's going on? Well, we've known for a while, since I did have to take some tests, genetic testing, so we got to find out pretty early on, which felt really, really wild to find out so early on. But I will say it was really nice finding out so early on in this case, especially because it felt like I could connect more, you know? That definitely helped. So, first, okay, I had a lot of guesses in that video too, and I'm gonna say everybody always guesses that gender for me because of how I carry, and it's not it's never right. Sorry if you guessed wrong, but we are having a girl. We are having another girl. Ooh, we are so excited. My daughter, oh my goodness, lost her mind. She started crying. She was so excited to have a sister. She would love a baby either way, boy or girl. So would we. Like, we just want the baby to be healthy, honestly. But when she found out she was having a sister, that is like all her dreams coming true. Just the idea of sisterhood for her is just like the best thing ever. So watching her face, seeing it was just so cute. We are so excited. I think it's really funny, and I have to mention, so many people guess not only on that video, so not only if that was you guessing it was a boy or whatever, even in my day-to-day life, everybody always thinks I'm having boys because I carry low and big and round, and I just carry that way. I'm only 5'4" and I have a very short torso. Like, let me tell you, I have a very short torso. So I think that I just look like I'm carrying a boy, and it's just what happens. But there is a funny story. When I was pregnant with my daughter, my first daughter, I can say that now because you guys know what gender we're having. By the way, I've accidentally said it a couple times and I had to cut it out of this video early on. But when I was having my first daughter, and we were like, I think I was like 8 months pregnant, and we were at some kind of takeout restaurant. The person working there was like, oh, congratulations on your baby boy. And I was like, oh, thank you, but it's not a boy, it's a girl. She's like, no, it's a boy. And I said, no, it's a girl, but thanks. She's like, it is a boy. And I was just like, okay. Like, she was adamant about it. She would not let it go. And I'm just like, okay. So I was just like, well, I mean, I've seen it on ultrasound quite a few times now, and it's definitely a girl. We've even done the 3D ultrasound, but you know what? You do you. And she's like, you're carrying low. I can tell by the way you're carrying. I can tell by the way you look. You are having a boy. She was so set. And I just wish that I went back when the baby was born and been like, girl, it was just funny. Like, she was just so adamant about, I don't know, it cracks me up to this day. But yeah, you never know. But like I was saying earlier, like with the whole comparison thing, because this pregnancy was so similar to the pregnancy with my daughter, I had a feeling. I didn't really ever know if it's a boy or a girl, because I'm like, how do you know? It can go either way. But the symptoms, if you're in the camp of it, the symptoms are the same, you know, for this gender or the next, then yeah, it was like no surprise for us that it was a girl, since my symptoms were so similar to that. Yes, so that is all the questions I have for this round, you know, today. Thank you so much for hanging out and watching and letting us chit chat. I should do a quick little bump date for you so you could see my bump. All right, there she is. There she is inside my tummy. Looking nice and round, looking really long according to the ultrasound. And there is my belly button. That popped out like a turkey timer really soon, really early. When I had my daughter, it popped out too, and it did go down after pregnancy. But yeah, there it is. There is my tummy. Yeah, you guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoy these style videos. Do not worry, I'm not going to bombard you with pregnancy mommy videos or anything like that. I'm still a beauty and lifestyle channel. I think I'm going to try to do my pregnancy related videos on Sundays, Sunday uploads. I have like a whole bunch of maternity stuff that I got at this great, oh my goodness, this great discount store called Boohoo. Yeah, so I got that. I think I'm going to film that for you guys, and you can check it out because there's some really cute pieces. And they sell regular clothes too, so they have both the sizes. And then there's this brand that's having like a great Black Friday sale that if you missed it on my Insta stories, I can fill you in on YouTube. And yeah, that is it. So there we go. Thank you again so much for watching. And I hope that every single one of you have a great, freaking, awesome, wonderful, beautiful, lovely, happy day.